We're not believing this anymore. We're not believing what you're saying because every time you talk, every time you speak, you try to tell us how great things are. But every time I go to Walmart, every time I go on Amazon, every time I try to take my family out to a nice dinner, or even if I just go to McDonald's, we are all seeing the writing on the wall that the economic position in the United States of America is not what it should be. Biden economic advisors continue to lie to you. They continue to tell you bold-faced lies to your face that Bidenomics is working. The Biden economic advisors want you to think that everything is hunky-dory. The Biden economic advisors want you to think everything's great out there. The Biden economic advisors, they're not telling the truth. They're not telling the real story out there. They're not telling how everybody is struggling these days. They're not talking about how the fact that inflation, while it may be down, is still above zero. And with inflation above zero, that means you're literally paying more than you were a year ago on what was already inflated from the year prior, right? Biden economic advisor points to inflation, job trends, and as good signs, despite voters' dissatisfaction. Yeah, voter dissatisfaction is happening because we're the ones who are feeling it, right? We're the ones who are going to the grocery store and seeing that our grocery cart prices have doubled. We're the ones looking at Christmas like, how are we going to afford this year? We're the ones having to deal with the student loans that are now coming due, right? What happened to that big promise of we're going to pay off your student loans? We're going to pay off $10,000 of student loans. We're going to pay off this for your student loans. A lot of voters, a lot of the people who are actually counting on those dollars, they're looking at everything Bidenomics is doing and just shaking their head saying, no, we're done. We're not believing this anymore. We're not believing what you're saying because every time you talk, every time you speak, you try to tell us how great things are. But every time I go to Walmart, every time I go on Amazon, every time I try to take my family out to a nice dinner, or even if I just go to McDonald's, we are all seeing the writing on the wall that the economic position in the United States of America is not what it should be. And then we've got senators who are focusing on sandwich shops. Who gives a crap about that? Fix the problem. Fix the problem. And the problem is inflation. Hey, if you're just tuning in, my name is Chris Fuel. We cover the biggest headlines of the day and what the AI trading data says about it. And if you're interested in that too, be sure to definitely hit the subscribe button down below and start trading with AI today. Head to ovtlyr.com to see why outliers win. Now, let's take a look at the story here a little bit further, right? President Biden's economic advisor on Sunday said inflation and employment trends are moving in the right direction, despite many Americans voicing disapproval of how Biden is handling the economy. He wanted to add a nuance, of course, that American voters say they're continuing to struggle with high prices. Everybody is struggling. But the economic advisors and Biden and Bidenomics are all trying to tell you everything is great. They're all trying to tell you there's nothing to have a problem with. They're all trying to tell you inflation's under control now, people. What are you complaining about? Inflation's down to 3%. Quit bitching. That's what they're trying to tell you. That's just not the case, right? Inflation may be down to 3%, but it's 3% more than it was a year ago. And a year ago it was hitting 9%. So that compounds every year. We need to see disinflation. When we see disinflation, that's when prices will actually start coming back down. Just 29% of the people surveyed by Fox News said that the economy had started to turn around, while 67% say the worst is yet to come. And I don't disagree with them, right? Consumers have been stretched so far on everything. On home prices, on auto prices, on grocery prices. There's going to be a point where they can say, I can't afford it anymore. There's actually going to be a fiscal point where they literally can't afford it anymore because credit card debt is hitting an all-time high. And at some point, all of these credit cards are going to be maxed out. And if all the credit cards are going to be maxed out, what are they going to do? How are they going to say Bidenomics is great? Because nobody can even use their credit cards. Consumers are the best arbiters of economic conditions, and a more realistic picture has to consider consumers' actions. What are their actions here, right? Their actions are struggling. Their actions are the fact that they're trying their very best to keep up, and everyone is struggling. That's what their actions are. Consumer spending has been driving the economy forward, with growth rates over 5%, noting Black Friday set online shopping records. Okay, this I had a big problem with. Black Friday hit records because the price of everything on sale on Black Friday was so much more than it was a year ago or 2 years ago. And they want to claim that is because the American consumer is strong. They're not seeing the big picture here. They're trying to take a little minute data point and say, things are great. Things are great because the American consumer is spending so much, rather than saying the American consumer is spending so much, and because of that, things are not great. Let's be realistic here. That is exactly what's going on. Don't be gaslit in the situation. Don't be gaslit and for them to say, hey, things are great, when you and I both know that that is not the case, right? We're moving on the right track, but we have a lot more work to do. At least they can acknowledge that point. At least they can acknowledge that, hey, they haven't fixed anything. There's a lot more left to do. All right, let's take a look at what the AI trading data says about the S&P 500. Looks like we have a buy signal all the way back on October 17th. It looks like it's taken off from there. And if you've been following these signal returns, you'd have seen a 106.66% return. That is outstanding. And if you want to get your hands on these outstanding signals just like this, head to ovtlyr.com to see why outliers win. Now let's go see what the internet is saying about this, right? Exactly what I'm pointing, right? Pump up the prices of all the necessities through inflation. Claim that the increased dollar value of spending is a sign of the economy doing well. Tax revenue is increased without changing the tax rate. This person is outlining what I just said. Make everything more expensive. And then say that things are great because everything is more expensive. And I didn't even consider they're actually getting higher taxes because of this, right? They're getting proportionally higher taxes. So they're increasing the tax rate without actually increasing the tax rate. I thought that was pretty smart. Jonathan DeFriend, well done, sir. Gaslighting, exactly. They're lying to your face. Totally out of touch. And then I thought this was great too. Stop noticing the pain that you feel. Stop noticing the fact that things are not working out like we say they are. Stop noticing them. And listen, I don't know how to fix this, but I also don't know how the YouTube algorithm works. And it continues to point out one of these two videos is going to be the best video that you have seen today. And I would definitely click on one of these to learn more about why YouTube thinks this is going to be great for you. Thanks for tuning in to today's Outlier Live. I'll see you on the next episode.